Hello, 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 everyone. It is Thursday evening, and it is time for the Small Business Spotlight. I am Pat DeBear, and I am ready to conversate, and chat with yet another small business in the LGBT community. Before we get into all of that, I do want to say, as I do at the beginning of every Thursday show, thank you to everybody that hung out and was part of Digital Game Night on both Monday and Wednesday. Last night we had lots of laughs, lots of fun. My internet and my connection on StreamYard apparently decided to be funny again. And there was lots of scrambling on my end to get everything back up and running. But we did. We had a great time. We ushered in Chrissy's birthday. And it was just a great time. So again, thank you to everybody that's been supporting the Small Business Spotlight episodes on Thursday nights. Thank you to everybody that has been subscribing and following on YouTube and on Twitch. If you haven't done so, I don't know what's stopping you. Make sure that you hit the subscribe button on YouTube. That'll let you know when we go live. And the same thing on Twitch. If you hit the follow button, you'll get a little notification saying that Bears in the City is live. And that way you never miss one of our episodes. And if you don't catch it live, YouTube, the episodes stay up there forever. And I believe Twitch stays for about 7 days. I think that's the current time frame. So if you could do me a favor and hit subscribe and follow, that would be fantastic. I'm doing the path to affiliate on Twitch and could use your support in that endeavor. Okay, so tonight's guest is a member of the LGBT community and is a photographer, not unlike myself. I'm not talking to myself, although that would be an interesting conversation to have if I split screened it and was just both the host and the guest. But his work is fantastic. We were introduced through, again, apparently this is just the plug Jaden portion of the episode, through our mutual friends and former Mr. Bearbus, Jaden Pubzerberus. And I'm excited after looking at his work and getting a chat with him. I am so excited to have this conversation. So without further ado, I'm going to bring DS Trumbull onto the show. What's going on?
Hi, how's it going?
Oh, it is delightful. It is a gorgeous day here in Chicago. I love the fact that you can look outside and be like, oh, it doesn't look like the world is on fire right now.
Yeah.
Oh, so you've escaped the city for a little while, haven't you?
Yeah, I have actually. I escaped to Michigan for a little bit to come up to a lake house out in the middle of nowhere. So trying to get away from that madness for a little bit because I'm right in the middle of it every day. Going to work. So it's a lot. It's a lot this time. So
I don't blame you in the slightest.
Yeah.
And Havoc, my puppy, and I will be right up there. We will sleep outside. We'll put a little tent up in there. So that way we're properly socially distanced.
Yeah, definitely. Hey, the more the merrier.
Not in these times.
Yeah,
not in these times.
Right. Exactly.
We're so used to just everybody come on.
Yeah,
now it's
come on.
Nope, not today. Not right now.
10 or less.
Outdoors, we'll just that works. Yeah. Oh, good times. So before we really get into all of your actual work, how did you get into photography?
All right, so I got into photography. I've been doing photography since I was in high school. I remember doing the 35 millimeter black and white class, developing your own film, that whole deal. And it was a photography class in my junior year of high school. And I just fell in love with it right away. So, and of course, shortly after that, that was like 1996, 1997. And so shortly after that, digital cameras started to become a thing. And, I got my first digital camera after that. And, I've been shooting since. I've done everything from nature photography to underwater photography to portraiture, and that's kind of where I'm at now. Is that's where my bread and butter is portraiture photography.
Have you done any IR photography?
No, I have not. No.
It is one of the coolest things I have ever done, and I've only done a little bit of it.
Yeah.
Because you have to trust your gut, because you can't see anything out of those lenses.
Yeah. No, I have not. I haven't had the joys of doing that yet.
Once the world is less on fire,
yeah,
we're gonna have to hang out. I have to see if I still have those my IR lenses or my IR filters.
Yeah,
and do that.
We should for sure.
Yes. So I love the fact that I'm sitting here trying to do quick math when you're like junior year of high school, 96, 97. I'm like, okay, so we're close in age.
Yeah. I call myself out a little bit, huh?
Listen, I'm right there with you, because I'm definitely not as much. I don't even know how to phrase this properly without sounding like demeaning to myself in a way. I'm a photographer also. It's part of what I've done. I was staff photographer for the Parliament House in Orlando.
Nice.
I've done a lot of my event ads in the past few years. I've done a lot of the models that I've shot them. So it's so funny to hear people talk about like back in the day, like 35 millimeter, like film, like
how we started.
Yeah. And I one of the things that I wasn't as big into it, like as devoted into it back in the day. And that's one of the things that I almost wish that I had learned how to do, was to develop film.
Yeah.
Because I love seeing like all of that like happening.
The whole process of it. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was such an experience too. I mean, like even just doing that in high school. I mean, I think that's kind of what hooked me, is, like the whole process of it was cool. And it was art that I could do. It was like, I can draw like very, minimal. But photography, you practice it, it's an art form.
Absolutely. Oh my God. Yeah. Cause I'm good with stick figures. That's about where my drawing is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was always the oddball of my friend group that was like, I want to take pictures. Like I always had either a disposable camera or like you were saying, towards the end of the 90s, early 2000s was when digital cameras started to become a thing. And I was always the one in my group that had a camera.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, we're going to take pictures. And everybody hated me for it because, the flash going off.
Right.
But it was, you look back at like those pictures and you're like, that portion of your life is just encapsulated in it. Just having moved, we were talking about this before we went live. I was saying that I finally have unpacked everything, and I have a bunch of pictures that I took from my parents' house on one of the trips. And I have like all of these pictures from back when I was 15, 16, 17 years old. And I'm just like, wow, that's ridiculous. Like it's that moment of time. But so it's fascinating. And it's one of the things that with what I do, it's one of the things that I love to connect with other people about the most, is talking photography and being like, I want to make more photography friends and be like, let's go shoot. Let's go do let's pick each other's brains for how did you come up with this, or how do you go look for locations, and we'll get to all of that.
Sure,
These are all questions for later. But these are like, photography is one of those things that just thrills me because it allows you to be artistic in such a different capacity.
Right.
So what was your first like venture into the LGBT sector photography wise? So like, I know you were saying portraiture is where pretty much where you're at now.
Yeah.
How did you enter into like the gay space or the queer space for photography?
Sure. I mean, it's actually a great story. So I moved to Chicago, 2012, October 2012. Didn't have a job. I literally packed up a truck full of my stuff, put my car on a trailer on the back, and drove to Chicago. I'd found somebody on Craigslist that was, advertising an apartment, LGBT, and he was gracious enough to like, I don't know why, but like he just like said, okay, if you want to rent the space, come on over. I was in Pennsylvania at the time, and I was just ready. I needed to move to a new city, and I was ready. So moved over here October 2012. Didn't have a job, but I had a camera, and I bought a backdrop, and I bought some studio lights, and I started advertising on Craigslist, for male models to just practice shooting with, and it was in the men's for men section, and so it was, and I wanted to get those pictures. I wanted to get those sexy, hardly any clothes on pictures, and before I even knew that I wanted to do leather photography, that's what I was doing. And I shot a few people. One of them will come up in the conversation a little bit later too. My friend Luis, who's in the leather community. So, he's the one that got me started. So, we've got that picture. We can talk about it at that point.
I was like, wait a minute. I was so enthralled by the story. I was like, damn, I'm supposed to put pictures up.
That's that first picture that you'll show is him. Yep. So that picture right there is actually the first picture that kind of got my start in the leather community. I shot him when I was advertising on Craigslist when I first moved to Chicago. And like I said, that was 2012. A few years later, he became Mr. Chicago Leather. And he called me up and he wanted to do a photo shoot. So I'm like, yeah, sure, let's do it. He came over to my place and we did a bunch of shots, and this shot was like, the best one out of the batch. And, I still love this photograph, of course for sentimental reasons, but, the color's great. It's basic. It's old school, got an old school flair to it. And people just loved it. And, shortly after that, I started to get calls and people wanted to do photo shoots with me. So yeah, I mean, that really was the first step into the LGBT leather community.
I love it. So where was this shot?
This was shot in the alley that's just behind my apartment building. And it's hilarious because everybody always comments about how clean the alley is.
that was going to be my next thing.
Yeah. So like the building to the left is like a mortgage. It's like a broker business, and so they've got people that like sweep outside every day. So it's probably like the cleanest alley in Chicago.
That's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, I love it. Because seriously, you sent the picture over, and I was like, that is a damn clean alley.
No, right?
Yeah. So you shoot and you edit your own stuff as well?
Mm-hmm. Yep, edit my own stuff. I use Lightroom.
Okay, I was gonna say
Lightroom and Photoshop. I use both. I'll juggle stuff around in Lightroom, and then I'll have like a few things that I want. And actually, like a lot of people do their logos or their watermark in Lightroom. I do mine in Photoshop. It's just how I've always done it. It's like I've done it since I started editing photos on a computer. So
trust me, I'm the same with Photoshop. Mostly because I don't do a lot of stamping in portrait work,
right?
Because a lot of the portraits that I do end up being the models for ads. So it's more about getting a clean background, cropping them out, and putting them on onto a poster. Mm-hmm. But when you do event photography and you have 100 or 200 pictures, you're not sitting there and stamping each one individually. So I learned very quickly how to do a batch. Mm-hmm. And that's I've got them set up. I go in, I'm like, batch, automate, boom.
Especially with event photography. I'm not, we can talk about that too. I'm not event photography is not my thing. And sometimes I really despise it. Sometimes it's a lot of fun, especially the event. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But I've done a bit of that too.
Yeah. Most of what I did event-wise were a lot of concerts. Mm-hmm. When I worked for Parliament House, I mean, technically I still work for Parliament House. Yeah. I just don't live in the around the block anymore. Yeah. but I love shooting the concerts over there
Oh, yeah,
because
yeah.
when you get those great shots, it's such a
Mhm.
feeling. It's such a rush, and you're like, yes, I nailed that.
Yeah, you
But-
get a good shot, and you're like, it makes your day. It makes the whole thing worth it.
Absolutely, absolutely. So let's talk about So this will tie back into other stuff that we've done with the Small Business Spotlight. So this photo here
Yeah.
is Slade, who we had on a couple of weeks ago, talking about Wolfbound.
Yep.
First of all, were y'all crazy to be standing in the middle of a roadway?
Oh yeah, this is a fun story too. I mean, it was actually, I forget what month it was, but it was like the middle of winter. We didn't have any snow. You can see that we didn't have any snow on the ground or anything, but it was freezing. And we had done our whole photo shoot the whole day. But several weeks back, I envisioned this in my head. I envisioned this very shot in my head. And a few weeks back at one of Slade's get-togethers at his house, I said, we already knew we were going to shoot together. And I was like, I know that I've got this image in my head that I want to use, because he's got these glowing face masks. He's got several of them. And I just envisioned it, and I was like, we have to pull it off no matter what. And that night we would run out from the jackhammer, run out to the middle of the road, set up, take the pictures as many as we could, because I wanted to get the perfect shot. And it was so cold. Like, he'd be like, "Can we go back in now? Can we go?" But, nope, not yet. And then we'd run back into the bar, warm up, and go back out and shoot again.
Oh my goodness.
So it was hilarious. And I was like, I was joking the whole time. I'm like, see, Slade, beauty is pain. Beauty is pain.
And I love that. I'm going to assume that this is not in a current COVID time frame, because obviously you were at the bar.
No, and that's actually kind of funny. He's got his glowing face mask.
Exactly. I'm like, so prescient now.
Yeah.
But one of the things that I love the most is the light trails.
Yeah.
Especially with nighttime photography.
Mm-hmm.
So when you sent me all these pictures, that was the first thing that kind of popped out to me, was like, okay, this is really cool. And then I was like, wait a minute, y'all are in the middle of the road.
Yes.
I have stood outside of the jackhammer,
and
I have seen cars make ridiculous U-turns in the middle of the road.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, oh damn, y'all were really
I was dead set on getting that shot. I mean, and I told him, I was like, this shot's gonna be amazing if we get it, and it did. It turned out great. It turned out just like I had envisioned it. Those stars that you see from the street lights, I did not envision that. I didn't even know that I would get like such a beautiful star out of those, but I did.
No, that's phenomenal. Phenomenal.
Yeah, thank you.
So as we're talking about this, I'm going to throw this banner up real quick before we move on to the next photo. If you are enjoying the photo work that you see, you can see more of these pictures by going to DS's website, dstrumbull.com. There is a.
I got it right this time. My camera's backwards. There we go, right there.
I do this on every single one, or every single broadcast. Is always like, where, how?
This way, no, this way.
It's just like, Vogue. Yeah, it's bad. We can go check out his website. There's a lovely a slideshow, so you can see some of the featured work, and get a feel for who the featured models are, and then you can go through and you can click and see more pictures of those. I was a little sad that you didn't send me any of the pictures of Craig, because
oh yeah, that was a hot shoot. Yeah. I mean, I can send you more. Wait, I'll send them to you after the interview.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. And if you're on Instagram, go follow at DS Trumbull. If you're on Facebook, look up DS Trumbull Photography as well. But go check them out. And there's lots of pictures of you on your Instagram as well. Yeah,
and so that Instagram that you put up, that's actually my personal, which has a good amount of my work on there. But there's also a DS Trumbull photo. So that's my photographer's Instagram. And it has some photos. I'm really bad at keeping up with that stuff. So,
well, listen, sir, you were the one that sent me
Yeah. The personal one, actually, as a matter of fact, the personal one's probably got more content on there, photography content, than my professional one does.
And he said it was a DS Trumbull photo.
Yeah, DS Trumbull photo. Yep.
All right, so we'll hold on. There we go.
Oh, look at that. That was quick, man.
Put a little tippy tappy. I'm good.
Yeah.
I trust me in doing these. I realized like, oh crap, I forgot something. So let's go back to the pictures because I'm excited to hear the stories about these.
Yeah.
But every so often we'll break back in with the website and the Instagram links again. So let's talk about this one.
Yeah. So that's Ralph Bruneau and Q Dark Wolf. So anybody that's in the community probably knows both of these individuals very well. They wanted to do a kind of a Tom of Finland-esque photo shoot during IML, so I took them around the host hotel, and we just kind of shot. We had fun, but this shot I particularly like. I mean, the positioning of both of them is just kind of, to me, is perfect. And Q, he's got his back arched and very stern, and it was a fun shoot to do with both of them. So they're both beautiful human beings.
Oh, absolutely. And with the tattoos on his neck and shoulder, and just with the arch and the hat and everything, that's a fantastic shot.
Yeah, thank you.
So our next one is this one.
Yeah, that's Boot Black Marta. Again, that was an IML shoot I did with her. We went back into one of the alleys, and she says, she had her gear with her and stuff, and she's like, what about this? You think we should shoot with this? The gas mask. I'm just like, yes, let's throw that on. And like, there's a couple of shots of this particular setting, and a couple of them. This one doesn't show it, but there's like water, like standing water on the ground in the alley. And just the whole feel of this was perfect. I was shooting this in every shot. I was like, yes. She's like, she was laughing her ass off because I was going nuts. But yeah, I love this shoot with her.
Oh my goodness. And I have to compliment your eye and your eye for positioning, because I can't tell if is that a vent that's on the wall in the back?
Yeah. Yep.
Like
it's that from another building. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much centered in the frame, and then she's just off, being not centered in, like using the rule of thirds, and it's. I'm telling you, when this is the most fun I have is when I talk to other photographers, and especially when I am just in awe of the talent behind the work. So, that's just incredible. Let's talk about
Craig.
Yes.
Craig Menzies, Mr. Hong Kong Leatherman from last year. It was last year. He came into town before IML. He was competing at IML, and we connected, and did a great photo shoot. I mean, this photo shoot I did with him, I took him all over the city of Chicago. Like, this was a couple days prior to IML where we connected, and I drove him around all of Chicago, and we found some beautiful backdrops. Like this one in this alley was actually back, in I think it was Uptown. It was right, across from the Baton a little bit, right where the Uptown train station is, where they were doing a lot of the construction. And this was tucked away back there.
Oh, so right down the street from my house.
Yeah, probably. Right.
Yep. I'm in Uptown. I'm Sheridan and Wilson, so I'm like blocks away from
it was right
all
there.
of that.
Yeah,
that's fantastic. So you were talking about how you drove them all around Chicago. How do you have places in mind when you were like? As you're driving, do you come across places and go, you know what? Let me keep a mental note of that. I want to go shoot there. Or how do you figure out like where you want to, like what you want to use as the backdrops for these shoots?
Yeah, that's exactly what I do. I mean, anytime I'm driving, I'm always thinking about it, and I drive past some of these places, and I'm like, all right, mental note. Just like you said, it's a mental note, and I always I connect with somebody to do a photo shoot, and it just so happens that we're going to be in that neighborhood or something, and that's when I'll take advantage of these things that I remember. Sometimes I just drive around aimlessly, and I look, and I see, I was like, yeah, there it is right there. Jump out, take a couple shots. What I consider that, I always call it like guerrilla photography. Like, you're just out on the streets and you're shooting. I'm not a studio photographer. I have used studio equipment and I have done backdrops and stuff like that. But ever since I got into portraiture, especially with the leather community, I don't know as if you'll even see a studio shot photograph from me. So yeah, that's my style, and I just stick with it, and it's fun. It's fun.
And honestly, as I was going through on your website, dstrumbull.com,
yeah.
As I was going through, and I was looking at I was scrolling through some of the different featured shoots that you have up there, and they all really do have that quintessential leather photography feel to it, where it's a lot of that industrial. It's a lot of the there's a lot of brick. There's a lot of I started to see a bunch of like the graffiti backgrounds, like those types of things, and it really it stuck out to me as like, this is quintessential leather art. So it's kind of it's very impressive to me, and it makes me sit there and go, okay, this is really cool. I'm excited to be in a more industrial place, like going from Orlando, which what pretends it's a big city. Y'all in Orlando know
I lived there. I went to Full Sail University down there.
Oh, did you?
I did. I went for audio engineering. That was my first career pick, and and then I went to school a couple different times. Never for photography, which I should have. I went to art school, and I went for computer art.
Listen, looking at your work, I think you're okay. I don't think you have to worry about it. That's funny. My old comic shop is actually across the street from Full Sail. So
cool.
I love it. So, and then don't forget Instagram if you want to follow DS Trumbull's personal page at DS Trumbull, and the professional photography page at DS Trumbull Photo. Okay.
Yes.
Listen, I'm trying to remember to be a host while I'm doing this, and not just gush about how great your work is.
Go on.
But I love it though. Like I'm finding a kindred spirit here, because I had to teach myself audio engineering for part of my business, between running karaoke and then running live music and stuff like that. It became a lot of like how to do things and how to do it on the fly a lot of the times, because
it's very technical, and you're in front of people when you're if you're running sound for an event. Oh man, that's stressful. It's very stressful.
It's even harder when you are trying to run back-to-back concerts in two different rooms in the venue that are back-to-back, where neither room is set up to do at least one thing for each that you need to do.
Yeah.
So you need to learn you need to think on your feet and figure out how to basically jerry rig the equipment into one, and then undo it real quick and take it into the other room, and then figure out how to patch everything through. Not like I've done that before.
Yeah, right. No, it's crazy. I mean, it's a stressful job, I'll tell you that much.
It is, but at the end of the day, like with anything, when you get it done, and it all goes off, pretty well, it's worth it.
It's a good feeling. Yeah,
absolutely. All right, so we have a couple more pictures that we're going to talk about from your featured, and then we're going to go into a current exhibit. So let's talk about these last couple of pictures that we have here.
Sure, and that's my buddy David Dries. He's a former Mr. Midwest, and we shot this in an alley. Found some cool black garage doors and kind of shot it at a vertical angle. I made him puff on that cigar to get a nice long ash, and that's a fetish of people's, like people that are into cigars, man, they want to see a big fat ash on the end of that. So that's it, it's all about the detail.
I was like, people tell me that I've got a big fat ash, but
right. Good.
I tried. And then we have this photo.
Taisha, man, I love Taisha. She was a natural. Like she would, and she was saying, she's like, I don't know how long it's been since I've done a photo shoot, and I don't know how this is gonna go. I was like, you're gonna be great, and she was. I mean, like she killed it. This is in the Travel Lodge across the street from the IML Host Hotel. We just walked in there and like cleared away some furniture. There was this beautiful like black leather couch, and there was coffee tables and stuff in the way, and we cleared it out and just did a couple shots, put it back together, and we were done.
What did the staff at the Travel Lodge
they were just looking at us? I mean, it's IML, so they just that's not like the craziest thing they've seen. Like they probably saw much more going on there, so they weren't concerned about us.
I could just imagine like one being an employee at the Travel Lodge and just have people coming in and being like, we're just gonna move this furniture real quick, take some pictures.
Yeah, no, totally.
Is the Travel Lodge an overflow hotel for IML or no?
It is, yeah. So there's people coming and going out of there all day. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes much more sense.
Yeah.
No, but that's awesome. And I can't believe that's a Travel Lodge.
Yeah. I know. It's a little fancy in the lobby.
Seriously, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So don't forget, if you wanted to, so all of these lovely individuals who are who we were talking about are part of the featured photo sets that are on dstrumbull.com. And there are a couple of others as well that are part of the featured. So if you go to dstrumbull.com, there'll be a little slideshow that's going on across the screen. And everybody's name is attached to it. So then you can go to the little menu, go to the featured, and then you click on any of those people and you get more photos from those sets. And there's a lot of great photos. There might be a little bit of nudity in at least one of those shoots. I haven't gone through all of them.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I don't. There's some. Yeah, there's a little bit, and for my websites and for social media and stuff, I tend to keep those out. I still need to. I should get a Twitter account. Like I still don't do Twitter, but I should get a Twitter account and start loading up those those very scantily clad ones.
And you have my email address, so you can always send some of those to me first.
Yeah.
Listen, I can do quality control and be like, this would be great for Twitter. And then you can follow DS Trumbull on Instagram and DS Trumbull Photo. That is the professional. Professional one.
By all means, follow me on my personal too. I love it. It's got a lot of good photos too.
Listen, you are a very handsome man, and the first picture on there is shirtless at the lake. So,
is it? I don't even know.
I was like, and follow. I followed, unfollowed, and followed again just so I could follow again.
Oh, I appreciate it.
Listen, this pandemic has me quite thirsty. So
you got me blushing.
That's my goal. So the next thing that we wanted to chat about, and really it kind of ties back to the reason that we're even doing these small business spotlight shows, is because of the pandemic.
Yeah.
Art festivals, street fairs, a lot of shows, pretty much anything that's in person that artists are able to take part in are canceled. There's no Midsummer Fest, there's no market days, there's no IML, there's no any of these events. So this is kind of my way to try to help get more people to know about these LGBT artists and businesses and all of that. So one of the things that you do have going on right now, because it is open with limited capacity,
Yes.
and it goes back a couple of weeks ago. We talked to Gary from the Leather Archives and Museum. So you have a couple of pieces that are actually part of an exhibit there now.
I do, yeah.
So what is the exhibit itself?
So the exhibit is, I believe it's called Lens, and it's showing right now. As soon as the archives opened back up, was allowed to open back up, Gary put together this show. It's a great show. It's got a lot of talented artists. I went and saw the show, and I was awestruck by like a lot of the images that were up there. I felt very grateful to be a part of it, because I mean, there's some great artists that he brought together. He curated the show, kind of pulled it together. I mean, he approached me months and months and months back. So he had the idea in his head, and then the pandemic hit, and 2020 is canceled all of a sudden.
All of this.
Yeah. So I know. So, but he was allowed to open back up, and that was kind of the first thing he put on and promoted. So very grateful to be part of that show.
That's fantastic. So we're going to take a look at a couple of these photos. There shouldn't be any issue with Twitch with these, because they are a little scandalous.
Oh, is Twitch a little?
Yeah, not a little, but I mean,
it shouldn't be that bad. Yeah.
All of these streaming sites are a little feisty, but no, I was taking a look again, and I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure this will be fine. So we're going to take a look at the first of. So you have 3 photos that are part of this exhibit.
Yep.
So this is the first one we're going to show.
Yeah.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about this particular photo?
Yeah. So this photo, this is Ernie and Maurice. And they agreed to shoot with me. This is actually, I put together this shoot because Gary had asked me to do the show, like when he first had thought about the idea. And I just wanted some new material. I was like, okay, he's putting on this show. I want to get a little bit new material. So I put on this shoot with Ernie and Maurice, and we shot at the cell block. So this is at the cell block in one of their beautiful shady little corners in their play area.
So is that in the new back bar?
Yeah, that's a new back bar. So it's cool. Actually, and if once we get out of this 2020 mess, go check it out. They were gracious enough to let me shoot there. They've redone a lot of the stuff back there. It's amazing, and it's a really cool hangout spot now. I know some clubs that are holding events, that were holding events there, and some play parties and little get-togethers. So
yeah, I adore Zach, who is at Cell Block, and was talking to Pup Spike from the Chicago Puppy Patrol two Thursdays ago. Yeah, he was on Tuesday. I'm like, wait a minute, trying to remember the order. But yeah, we were talking about the fact that the Puppy Patrol does some of their events back in the back bar at Cell Block. So
yeah,
I haven't been. The last time I was there was 4th of July weekend last year. I think that was my last time before I came up here in February to apartment hunt. Yeah. So I'm excited for when the world isn't on fire anymore, right. To go back and be able to support Zach and Cell Block and the events that are there. Yeah. So this is the second of the photos. This is the one that I was like, yeah, this should be okay.
Yeah, it's okay. So yeah, this is Ernie and Maurice. And I really like this shot. It's very dominant, submissive. Overall feel. He's staring at you right through. Right at the camera. We've got his hands, Maurice's hands bound. I just love it. It's great. Absolutely,
and I love the chain link spider web.
Yeah.
It's very LA Eagle to me.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite new touches of that back room.
Do tell about your favorite touches about the back room.
There's many favorite touches about that back room. See, you got me blushing again now.
Oh, I feel like I'm doing my job as a host now.
Yeah, you're doing a good job.
And the third and final of your photos in the set.
Yeah, so this is Daddy Sky. This is and her submissive that she had on her shoot. This was a shoot for her title year, at the very end of her title year. And this image, I just fell in love with this image like right off the bat. It first of all, it totally encapsulates the relationship that the two of them have. And it's just it's a seductive photo. It's a sweet photo. It's got all those elements tied into it. From what I hear, this was commented on a whole lot through the people that have seen the photography show. People just love it.
I love it. That's awesome. And I love to see the variety and the diverse nature. There we go. I'm mixing up where my words were going. The diverse nature of the leather and fetish community as shown through your photography, because you're not just getting any one avenue of it. You're getting multiple ones. You're seeing different title holders. You're seeing different aspects of the title holders, and it's fantastic to see that through your work. So I applaud you for that.
Yeah, I don't, I'm not shy about saying that, like, I don't go for just the the cookie cutter, big, muscular, like, Tom of Finland, that's, you look at our leather community and we're all different, and we are all beautiful like that. And that's the thing, is that, like, I see beauty in everybody. And when I do my shoots, that's why, like, when I have models that I do shoots with and they're nervous and they're like, I just don't know, I'm not very good in front of the camera. I'm like, you're going to do great. Like, just you wait and see. Like, these images are just going to be like, you're going to love them. And we do, we both end up loving them. And it really pulls out. One thing that I really enjoy doing is trying to, like, pull out, really what that person is all about. And their character and everything. And that's really what I go for. Like, when I shoot and I get that image and I'm like, yeah, that's Stitch, or that's Daddy Sky, or, like, that's the type of stuff that I look forward to.
I will just say this: that was so nice and sentimental that I didn't even make the easy joke about you pulling out.
Oh my God.
Listen, you set it up.
I can't.
Oh, I love it. So do you know how long the exhibit is running for?
I do not. No, I think it's, I'm from what I understand, it's going to be up for a while. So if anybody's got the opportunity to stop by the Leather Archives and Museum, please go and support them. These are trying times, in 2020. So, they need your support. It's not just that photography show. They've got, you go and browse the museum. They've got so many interesting installations and history. You want to learn about the leather community. There's so much history there. Go check it out. I love the place. I just did a fundraiser for them outside of the photography exhibit. So check them out.
I love it. And then I just threw up the banner. This is the one good thing. I don't get rid of my banners after doing the shows with everybody. But you can check out the hours, because I believe they are on modified hours while we're in phase 3 3/4. I don't know we're in some weird retrofitted phase of reopening, but go to leatherarchives.org and check out the hours, check out the precautions. I think it's groups of 10 or less. There's a max number of people that are allowed in the building at a time. Jonathan, Gary's boy, made the penis hand sanitizer dispenser.
That is amazing. Like, I don't know how he thought of that, or like what was going through his head when that idea came up, but it's amazing. It's amazing.
I'm friends with both of them on Facebook, and seeing the pictures and just like the and on Twitter, and seeing like how Jonathan put all of that together.
Yeah,
I was like, that's
genius.
impressive.
It's genius.
And so fitting. It's so on brand for the museum. So so go check them out. Go check out the DS Trumbull photography that is up there. Don't forget, you can go to dstrumbull.com and check out all of the works that we've been talking about today. And you can follow the personal Instagram at DS Trumbull, and the professional one at DS Trumbull Photo. You can go to the personal one and just admire the beauty of the photographer. Just saying. I'm trying to see how many times I can get you to blush during this interview.
Yeah, I know.
I love it. So I think that is most of what I wanted to chat with you about. As far as the photography world goes, I think we've covered a lot of it. So now I'm going to ask this kind of off the photo stuff, because it does seem to be the majority of what your work is focused on right now. You are part of the leather and fetish community?
I am, yeah.
Okay. How did you get introduced to the community?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. You know, I've always, I don't know, like, you know, as soon as I, you know, came out and was, you know, introduced to the LGBT community and everything, I always knew that I had a kinky side. And it's just kind of always been with me. I never knew that there was a community of people that in a community of people that would gather, you know, at these big events together, and celebrate, you know, being kinky and you know, fully embracing their sexuality. And I moved to Chicago 2012. I mean, and so that following year, following May 2013 was my first IML experience, and it was all over from there. I'd found my tribe. So that was the first time I was really introduced to the leather community. I mean, I always knew that there were leather people out at bars and stuff like that, but I never knew that they were a community. You know, I never really grasped that concept, I guess. I came out a little bit late, so so it might have been that too. So, you know, I always knew that, you know, there was leather guys at the bars and stuff, but just never knew that there's this beautiful community that, you know, that really embraced who they were. So once I found that tribe, I was done, you know, sold.
I will tell you this, you know, don't feel too bad. I like to say that I grew up at the New York City Eagle, and I still didn't really grasp like the vastness of the leather community until I moved down to Florida, and probably close to 2012-ish, when I really started working at the bars, and I built Bears in the City. Yeah, like that's when I started to see a lot more of it, because I was more active within the LGBT community. So yeah, it's crazy, and you know, I'm so glad that I stumbled into it. You know, changed my life forever. Listen, I completely understand, and it's fantastic to see that community change the person who you are, and to see that change turn into work that, you know, you're doing, and the art that you've created, and to see it all come together full circle, and really be, you know, this whole mixture of like, this is who I am and this is what I love, and this, you know, the art that I'm producing from it. So yeah. And so for any viewers that are out there, what color hankies and what side do you flag? Well, actually, I don't even wear hankies all that much, but I can tell you like what my top fetishes are, which would be a fisting top. Love that. And impact play, one of my favorites. Switch on that. And what else? I would say breath control would be my third. Very, very fond of that. For a second, I thought you said birth control. I was like, breath control. Yeah, that's a very interesting fact. Yeah.
It's self-explanatory.
It is. It is. But for a second, I was like, wow, I didn't realize that the leather community was so into to birth control.
Yeah.
But okay, all right. Very nice. Very nice.
Something out there.
So I've only really heard of two of those, or heard of two that I don't really know that much about. One obviously is very self-explanatory. The first time I ever saw fisting in person, I went into the non-sex bathroom of the New York City Eagle, and in the stall, somebody was had their knees on the toilet seat and their elbows on the tank, and were getting fisted. And I was like, that's not supposed to be in this bathroom. Y'all supposed to be the one next door.
Right.
I was like, whoa, oh, okay, interesting.
You know.
All right. I don't know. See, now we've gotten through what like the actual conversation was about, so now it's just fun conversation.
Right.
I love it. I love it. So is there anything else that you want to put out there? I know that there's not a lot of festivals or any events really that are going on, but are there anything or any other organizations that you want to throw out there for viewers to know about or to pay attention to during this time?
Well, right now, I mean, I've been working closely, obviously, with the Leather Archives in terms of the photo show and the fundraiser that I did. I'm really right now, I'm kind of at a standstill with my photography shoots. I'm sure I probably could shoot, but I don't want to put other people in danger, and going out in public and shooting with masks off, it just doesn't seem like the right opportunity to do that right now. But I've been messing around with some of my photography work, kind of playing with some graphic design, coming up with like t-shirt designs and stuff. And that's what I did with the archives, is a t-shirt fundraiser. So you may see something like that coming out soon. I've been putting together all kinds of designs, and maybe some work like that will come up in the near future. But I'm hoping I'm hoping that sooner or later we'll be able to get out and shoot again. But yeah, I think that's probably the main plug, is that, go see that photography show.
I love it. And do one more time. We will put this one up there. So go check out leatherarchives.org. You can find out their current operating hours, what days they're open, any of the rules that they have as far as group number, masks are required when you're entering the building. Hand sanitizer, like I said before, is in a lovely dispenser, so that is readily available for you. So go check out the Leather Archives and Museum. Go support them, because they are a not-for-profit organization. So they have items that they're selling through the website. They have their donations link and all of that. They are a legitimate non-for-profit. So if you do have some extra money, you can do a tax deductible donation to them. So go check that out. And then while you're at it, go check out the entirety of DS Trumble's photography work at dstrumble.com. Go follow on Insta for the personal Instagram at DS Trumbull, and the professional photography page at DS Trumbull Photo. Ding! I don't have my soundboard anymore, so I can't do all the things that go every time.
Soundboard.
I used to have one, and for some reason, like, I don't know, Windows did an update, and like the app is gone. It was a Windows soundboard.
Yeah.
And now it's gone.
Oh,
damn you,
funny.
Windows.
Yeah.
Taking away all my fun. Well, I just want to say thank you. It has been a phenomenal hour getting to chat with you. Almost 55 minutes that we've been live.
That's good. It didn't seem like 55 minutes, I'll tell you.
Right? See what happens when I make you blush multiple times during an interview. That makes me feel better about myself.
I appreciate it. I like blushing,
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, and I want to say really quick, thank you. I think it's really, what you're doing is really important. I think it's such a great thing to do for people in the LGBT community that are struggling right now. So thank you very much.
Oh, absolutely. And I've said it before on some of these episodes, but honestly, when it came down to it, it really was a matter of I don't know how big of a platform I have. I don't know, like I don't sit here and I'm probably the worst person like social media streaming wise because I'm just like I'm just gonna do this and you know whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I look at it this way and I say I have a platform,
Mm-hmm.
and at this point, like I do what I can for myself to make some money. You know, I do these digital game nights and try to give people a little escape for a couple of hours. And if I make a couple of bucks, awesome.
Right.
You know, but when I decided to do this, a friend of mine, David Collins, is an author here in Chicago, and one of the biggest things, and one of the biggest reasons why I did this was we were talking, and I've been trying to help him generate different ways to get the word out about his books and everything, because of the fact that all of the his main avenue of sales and exposure are the festivals.
Oh, yeah.
And there are none this year. You know, a couple of months ago, when it was closer to when I first moved up here, there was hope that a lot of these festivals would just shift back. And we've seen how this has been handled countrywide, and you know, as it is, it's tough. So I was thinking, I'm like, how can I do something to help? And that's when I was like, I knew he didn't have classes because he works for one of the colleges. I'm like, I knew he didn't have something on Thursday night. So I was like, you know what, let's do this. And then it just became a matter of like, all right, who's got a business or knows somebody that you know could use a little extra bump in, you know, some exposure. And now here we are, you know, almost 3 months later, doing these episodes, and it's been so much fun. I've gotten to meet so many new people that are fantastic, and I'm just excited. It gives me something to do, because it's tough to sit at home all day and not have something to do. So it gives me a chance to actually interact with somebody, and it makes me feel better knowing that I'm at least trying to be a part of uplifting our community. And that's been a big part of, you know, of all of this. So I appreciate that. And I'm excited to continue to do these.
Man, keep doing it.
Universal Bear Wears our next one next week. Macho, the owner of Universal Bear Wear. And then we're going to have some more people set up some more people for the end of August into September, and it's fun. So
nice, man.
I'm excited about this, and I'm excited to make a new friend and a new photo buddy. I'm excited for when like it's safe to actually like, you know, go out and do this. I'm so excited to explore a new city.
Yeah,
and get to know more about and do more photography wise. So I'm just gonna let you know now. that I'm gonna hit you up and we're gonna be.
I'm here, man.
Be my new photo buddy.
Yeah.
So, well, thank you, DS. Thank you, everybody that is watching now. Will be watching in the future. If you were in the future, hello from the past. Hopefully, it's better in the future. We'll see.
Yeah.
But until we meet again next week, Monday night is digital game night. That starts at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central. We do Wednesday night also. Chrissy Guy is my co-host on Wednesday night. Again, happy birthday, Chrissy. It's his birthday today. And then next Thursday night, we're back with the Small Business Spotlight starting 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central, where we're going to be talking to Macho of Universal Bear Wear next week on the 20th. Dear Lord, I can't believe next week is August 20th.
I can't believe it either.
Jeez Louise, it's crazy. Well, until then, dear viewers, we love you. Thank you so much. And we'll catch y'all next time.